Hello! no, not there either. Alright, so yeah, I think this would be a good part to start out at, to introduce to everybody. I would say I'm Vlad, the oddest motherfucker who doesn't know what to say at this point in time.
I'm Dalton, and I also don't know what to say, really.
It's quite an odd place to start at.
Yeah. This is our first episode of the Psychonauts podcast, and we didn't think about what we were really going to say.
I think that's my bad.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I think that's
we're just trying to go for it.
Exactly. It's the best place that represents truly what we are at this point in time. We don't know where we're going with this. We're just kind of starting off, hoping to find, at least the way that I see it, me personally, I'm trying to find my message in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, I have so much information that I intake on a daily basis, and I don't quite know exactly what my personal message is. I don't know what my voice is. You know, I'm taking in all this information from dead authors and dead poets and dead philosophers, from
dead musicians.
Exactly, especially dead musicians, you know, from 20, 30, 100, 5,000 years back at that point in time, you know, and it's just trying to accumulate all this into something that comes off as your own idiosyncratic message, realistically. Which hopefully at some point in time we can stumble across, because I would say we definitely don't have it yet.
No, not at all.
Hopefully soon.
By the way, we're recording in an apartment building, so be wary if you hear traffic.
Yeah, hopefully not.
We soundproofed on a budget, so be gentle on us.
Exactly. Everything's on a budget, so we start from there.
Disregard the Chromebook and the Blue Yeti microphone. We went extravagant for a couple things, but
humble beginnings.
Yeah, humble beginnings.
Yeah, I'd say that's the best expression that we can use at this point in time, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, realistically, talking about goals and direction of the podcast and everything, that's essentially one of my main goals, like I said, is to find my voice, because, you know, obviously, as you know, as they don't know, the viewers that we realistically don't have yet. I know we have a few, which thank God, blessings to you. You guys are beautiful, beautiful people, because we have nothing to offer here of any value, truly, yet. But that's one of my realistic goals, though, is to find my message and voice, and I'm sure that you can relate to that in some sense also.
Oh, yeah. It feels like a lot of times, like, the messages you want to get across in the company of friends or the company of family, it may be awkward. It just seems unnerving sometimes because, you know, it's your family. You don't want to get mad at anyone or, you know, go at each other's throats because of politics. But, you know, you still need to be able to get your voice out on certain subjects without, you know, just worrying about what people are necessarily going to think of it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, hands down, I completely agree, and I definitely think that's one thing, not even from the point of, like, arguing with your family, which obviously is something that definitely happens quite often, especially when you're trying to bring up points of view that challenge somebody's paradigm that's already in at that sense or at that point of view. And I definitely think that's something.
People who want to hear what I have to say, like, I'm not saying what I have to say is important at all, but, you know, if they want to, I'm not putting it on Facebook, I'm not putting it on Twitter, I'll share the podcast on those, like, you know, help advertise it, but I don't like typing shit out on shit, because you realize about halfway through typing shit out, you just start to lose effort, and you look at it and it's like, why am I even bothering? Who's going to look at it? Who's going to care you're writing for your, like, 7 Facebook friends? That, you know, just, like, who cares? Like, you don't want to see my shit. I don't want to see photos of, like, your kids' birthday parties.
Yeah, no shit.
So.
And I completely get what you're saying, and just to piggyback off what you're going off, I love the idea of, like, you know, throwing it out there for somebody that may care. Obviously, I would say, you know, as we've both stated already, neither one of us necessarily have a message. We don't necessarily have anything that we have to say yet at this point in time, but we're getting to that point. You know, hopefully we can evolve over, you know, the next 10 podcasts, 15 podcasts, before we actually have some little inkling of the message that we want to get out. But it reminds me of, you know, and maybe this is just some hippy-dippy new agey bullshit, but I believe it is something that actually goes into like ceremonial practices of like, when you're looking for the teacher will come. When you're looking for the guru will come, which is something that is, you know, very true. And I'm not saying that we necessarily are anywhere to take that position of a teacher or guru for anybody, because I don't know if we realistically have that much information or anything to share with anybody, but if at some point in time, you know, from the teachings that we've gathered and everything, if we can incorporate that, integrate that, and voice that out in some way that might be beneficial to somebody at some point in time, I think that would be good, you know, at least to have it out there, you know, at least somebody might stumble across it at some point in time and think, damn, I think exactly like these fucking weird ass people that, you know, are crazy as hell talking about some random ass shit. Just like people stumble across Joe Rogan, you know, obviously.
Or
like,
even Duncan Trussell.
Oh yes, yes, he's
Ari
beautiful.
Shafir.
Oh yeah, damn right, I love
Just
him.
started listening to his podcast today, and it's awesome.
He's funny as fuck, dude. I love Ari, and I love Duncan. Duncan, honestly, I would have to say is my favorite. Like, in my two favorite podcasts, I would say is Jordan Peterson and Duncan Trussell. I love the both of them because you get the unrealistic and the realistic standard at both ends. And even with Duncan Trussell, as crazy as he gets out there and is unrealistic, and I say unrealistic, but he's also very realistic at the same sense. He's, I would put it, implementing his teachings through a comedic lens. So he's teaching you even though you don't realize it. You're just laughing your ass off, but he's still teaching you.
He is one of my absolute favorite comedians. I love any story he tells about, you know, basically his like drug use. Like how he started doing ketamine with his producer at Woodstock or Burning Man. It was something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was Burning Man.
Burning Man, yeah. That is funny as fuck though.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I love that story. My girlfriend was laughing her ass off at that one.
That is funny. It is. It's hilarious. And just getting into like his podcasts as I've been doing recently, watching on Spotify, or listening on Spotify and all that good stuff. And yeah, I really love his message. I love how he incorporates like Buddhist philosophies and Hindu philosophies and Christian and Gnostic philosophies and everything like that. And like the guests that he brings on. Dr. Chris Ryan, you know, Sex at Dawn, was one of the books that he wrote and all that good stuff. I went back to the beginnings, and he's got so many damn good podcasts. The creator of Rick and Morty, I can't think of...
Justin Roiland?
Not Justin Roiland, but the other one.
Sure.
Damn it, I can't think of his name.
He's gonna be one of the 7 people that watch us, and he's gonna be pissed.
Yeah, no shit, he's gonna fucking hate us, exactly. And I would understand completely. And I hate to say if this is going to be a reoccurring thing of losing our track and not necessarily being able to think the specifics.
We have to do it.
Yeah, fucking A.
Take this as inspiration to just put yourself out there, because we just decided that we were going to do the first episode this week. Could have stalled it out for a little longer, but now we're just going for it.
Why not hit it? Absolutely. Grandma, if you're watching, please shut this off. Do not watch this at all. This is horrible. I love you, but don't watch this, please. Damn, I probably shouldn't have even said that. Hopefully they don't stumble across this. Yeah, and to everybody else, you're fucking wonderful. I think I've already said it, but you're beautiful if you're actually watching this right now. Whether you're coming from our 10 people that are actually watching this
or if you're someone random that found us by chance, which in that case, awesome.
Exactly. Or some future fucking person that's coming along in 2057 and is like, oh wow, I gotta look at the humble beginnings of Vlad and Dalton before I turn into a heroin junkie that's, you know, in some cracked out bathroom down in Arkansas. But
a statue of you putting a needle in your fucking arm, right?
Wouldn't that be beautiful? I would love it.
The America I dream of.
Just kidding. I'm not a heroin junkie. I promise you guys.
No. We don't touch that dirty fucking needle.
I'm only 20. I don't do drugs. Not yet.
He can't.
Give me time.
He legally cannot do drugs.
Exactly. I breathe. That's how I get high. Wim Hof method, everybody. Look that up, please. That's good for you.
Explain a little bit.
Of the Wim Hof?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Wim Hof is beautiful. So, they call him the Iceman, because what he does is, it's piggybacked off of an ancient form of breathing called Tumo breathing, which is a Tibetan form of breathing. If you get into Buddhism or Hinduism or anything like that, they've all got their own little, how would I put it? They all focus on breathing in certain formats. Hinduism, they call it pranayama, and Buddhism, they just, I don't know what the hell they call it, but they call it something, I'm sure. And they go into that, they focus on it as well. And Tumo breathing, what they do is it's this form of breathing that they have competitions with it. Actually, it's quite insane. They go up on the mountains and they'll take wet blankets or cloths or something like this, and they'll throw it over these people's backs, and they literally breathe to the point where they can dry off these blankets, which is absolutely insane. Because when you breathe to a certain point, you can actually like warm up your body, and that's why they call Wim Hof the Iceman, because that's what he's doing. When he does his form of breathing, he's literally warming up his body. And one of the main ways, I mean, you can obviously look it up on YouTube, and I'm not going to be able to describe it in the best way. I'm paraphrasing, obviously.
So that videos of him himself explaining it, so.
Exactly.
Well, you're not going to get a better teacher than the actual person.
Exactly, hands down. You know, we're just like pointing you in the right direction.
But we found Wim Hof on podcasts. So maybe we'll help some other people find
Exactly, damn right. That's the whole point. We're just trying to push you in the right teachings and push you towards the right teachings. And yeah, Wim Hof, he's beautiful, man, honestly. He teaches you pretty much to breathe with all of your lungs because, as you know, I mean, I know you've taken hop keto, obviously most of our guests haven't. But they teach you about, you know, lazy breathing, at least Mr. Hamlin, beautiful teacher, wonderful guy. He teaches you about how in your daily course you're a lazy breather. You only breathe through your chest for the most part. And when you want to do like real breathing exercises or deep breathings like that, you want to open up your complete diaphragm and breathe from the bottom of your lungs. And that's something that Wim Hof teaches, is breathing from the bottom of your lungs. So you're getting that full expansive breath in every breath. And you know, he's got a specific way. There's points where you hold your breath and all that good stuff, and you want to breathe rapidly at certain points in times and everything. But just the fact of knowing, you know, that breathing techniques are a thing, because even like I run into so many people that have no idea, like, what do you mean breathing? You gotta breathe right, you know what I mean?
You gotta breathe to get high? What are you doing, kid?
Exactly, yeah, you know.
Fucking boomers,
like,
fucking millennials.
Hands down, you know, you think you're crazy, but it is an actual thing. And like anybody that thinks I'm a doubter, look up a Wim Hof breathing technique right now. Do a 15-minute one. I guarantee you'll get high as fuck. Because the first time I did it, I couldn't believe it. I'd heard about it. I don't even remember where I heard about it, to be honest. Somewhere on a podcast or something I heard about it. It was
probably Rogan's or something like that.
Yeah, it had to have been at this point in time. And so I looked up Wim Hof and I tried just a 15-minute breathing technique in the middle of the night. And I got high as shit. I literally felt like I got done doing a whippet. And immediately after that, I texted my buddy PG. I'm like, yo, PG, you gotta fucking try this shit, man. I sent him the video and everything because I literally couldn't believe it. It's that feeling after you trip where you're like, I gotta tell everybody about this. Like, this is insane. How do people not know about this? And I couldn't believe it. And then obviously I did some research and found out, you know, some ancient breathing techniques, and people have known about this for years, but
it's not common knowledge to the general public.
Exactly, which is
like, it can be, but it's not something like people today would look up, or people of any time really look up. Not a large percentage of people are interested in that, although a large percentage of people are interested in yoga, and that's a great exercise to do in yoga, to kind of center yourself. Kind of gets everything a little bit calmer after everything, all the exercise and the breathing.
Hands down.
Yeah, your heart rate like just comes right down. It's amazing.
And I love how you brought up yoga too, because I mean, obviously yoga is a Hinduistic practice, but that's one thing, you know, especially in America, you know, we've got yoga practices in all different ways and shapes and forms, and typically they just focus on I think they call it the asanas, or the postures themselves, is essentially what people focus on when they do yoga. And yoga is a huge practice. I mean, they call it a science. It's spiritual science is essentially what it is. It doesn't just focus on the physical poses. Obviously, that's a big part of it. You know, and it's good to get into your daily routine and your practices and everything. But yoga, in its essence, yoga means, it translated means union. It's union with the universe. Yoga is something that's similar to like yolk, like an egg yolk. It means union is what it means. And when you practice yoga, that's the whole point, is to come to a unionated point with the universe, where you're one with the universe. You know, it sounds very hippy dippy, psychedelic in a sense, but that's truthful.
Coming from a kid Dead and Company t-shirt.
I mean, to be honest, I had to go with this shirt. I really did. I was thinking about this for a long time. I was like, should I just come out wearing some bland-ass colors? You know, should I go with fucking my Slipknot t-shirt?
So you mean your 3 white shirts you had on?
Yeah, my 3 white shirts I had on. Like, what should I do? I have to go with the Grateful Dead, man. That's like the best representation of my soul, my aura. You know what I mean? I love that hippie, colorful, tie-dye, beautiful essence. The celebration of life, you know. And don't get me wrong, I'm gonna get dark as fuck on this podcast. Like, we can definitely tread those waters, and you know, you need to. Any human needs to at some point in time to understand the full fantasy poetry. You know, I mean, nobody's asking you to write fucking poetry, but the best poets do it anyway.
Exactly.
From William Blake to Charles Bukowski.
So no one's asking for fucking like pig squeals and gutturals, but we just keep getting them and we just keep loving them.
It's a perfect way of putting it. I completely agree with you, and that's the purpose of art. Nobody asks for it. But the best art comes from people that people don't even pay attention to. I mean, truthfully, and that's what I hope to create. I think this is definitely a huge opportunity, being able to have, you know, obviously we have the cameras pointed at us at this point in time, and we've been working up to this. It's been nerve-wracking all day to get to this point, but we don't have, you know, millions of people following us. We don't have, you know, the criticism coming in daily, on a daily basis. I'm sure we're going to have everybody telling us how great we are and how funny and nice it was.
Yeah, all our friends.
Exactly, yeah, which is beautiful. I love it. You know,
never I go into the comment sections of the shit. I'm going to get canceled because I have dreadlocks.
Yeah.
It'll be like the second podcast episode. Someone's going to be like, he's not supposed to have this.
Exactly. All the followers, even your friends, are going to be like, you guys fucking suck. They're like, oh, well, I guess we have to still keep going.
Oh, we tried.
Yeah, we tried.
We tried.
Fuck it, I'll keep going. You know, because like I told you before we got on with the podcast, like, I've always seen the only thing that I can realistically do is talk. That's the only thing I've ever really been good at in some sense, and even then I'm not that good at it. I'm not in any sense. Certainly not great in any way, but hopefully through doing this, it's something that we can practice formulaically and actually get to the point where we...
Gonna turn into Eminem and start fucking studying the dictionary.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. Hands down, at least you understand that.
I tried to do that when I was like in grade school. I got like the giant Webster's dictionaries that were in like the library, right?
I got one over here.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I can actually fucking see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the bottom. But yeah, I like flipped that fucker open, you know, smacked the table like a fucking grenade hit it. And yeah, I just started going and trying to learn each fucking word and its meaning. And I didn't even make it past the first page of the A's. And I was like, fuck this, man.
That's funny as
Who
fuck.
can do this?
That makes me feel even more like a fucking alien, because I literally read my dictionary every night before I go to bed. I literally do the dictionary.
That's dope though. That's why I could listen to you talk for so fucking long, is because of that.
I appreciate you. I do. But that makes me feel like a fucking weirdo. I really do. I'm a fucking weirdo anyways.
I mean, in that case, Eminem's fucking weird too, so.
Very true. He's definitely an odd character. I would love to meet him at some
Oh god, am I gonna get this now?
No shit. Yeah, no shit. Hey, I'd be happy with that, honestly.
I would be too.
Yeah, as long it'll never happen, but that'd be so cool.
Two things I would be extremely happy with, or 3 things. When the funny memes start rolling out of this.
Damn right.
I want to be made fun of in South Park.
Fucking A. Cheers to that with my orange juice.
Hell yeah. And what was the other one? What we just said? Alex, cut this out.
Eminem. Yep.
And I would be like Eminem.
Damn right. Damn right.
I wouldn't be like Eminem. Cut that out too, Alex. Sorry. But no. And I would love to get dissed by Eminem.
Hands down.
Like, it's just... I feel like those are accomplishments. Not for Eminem per se, because he only does that to people he doesn't really fucking like.
Exactly.
But, you know, Joel.
If we could get him to diss us from a loving standpoint, that would be beautiful.
Yeah.
I would love that. I need to stop saying beautiful. I've said that a lot this point in time. But you know what? Fuck it. I don't give a shit.
You know what, Mr. Dictionary... Alex.
We're keeping that. No, I'm kidding.
Fucking dictionary scholar, think of a new word.
I know, it's terrible. I get into the point where I get into these habitual patterns where they say the same things over and over again, and I get into thinking the same things over and over and over again, and that's definitely something that, it's human.
Oh, come pass.
Exactly.
So, like earlier, what was the first concert you went to?
First concert! Dude, I'm excited to talk about this. My first concert was Dead and Company.
Fuck yeah.
Hands down, man, and that was like the best thing that I could have seen. Obviously, I wish it could have been the Grateful Dead. I wish I could have seen Jerry Garcia, but he clearly died 4 years before I was born. But even just being able to go and see Dead and Company, Bob Weirdwire, forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, and John Mayer, who was the other front person as well. He was singing and playing guitar, lead guitar, and he did a wonderful job. I'm not a huge John Mayer fan, honestly, but he did a great job. Fucking absolutely phenomenal. I loved it. And then, obviously, my second concert was inspired by you, Slipknot, which is a beautiful representation of my musical taste. The Grateful Dead straight to Slipknot.
Yeah.
I loved it. That was absolutely wonderful. And then
I've only seen 2 concerts live. Oh, I bet they kind of intertwine with each other.
Not at all. Not in any way. And then the third was John 5, which we attended together as well, which was also another amazing
forgot
show.
about that one for some reason. The John 5 mask is right behind
Yeah,
you.
literally.
Pull that out for the wonderful people.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, let's see this shit. I got the comic book over here too, but we'll just hit the mask. You gotta have John 5. Dude, John 5, you're fucking a legend, man. I love you. Obviously you're not watching, but you know what? Maybe someday.
One of the most legendary guitarists I've ever seen.
Completely, yeah. I love John 5. And then how about you? What was your first concert?
My first concert, it was Kiss for the Alive 35 tour.
You've told me that before.
I think that was in 2010, 2011, something like that. I can't really remember.
See, you hit your first concert way before me. I think it was like 16 or 17. Yeah.
The only thing is, like Dead and Company, 2 of the main people weren't with the fucking band anymore. It was just Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons as the originals, and the other 2 I don't know who they were, but they were the replacements of Ace Frehley and Peter Criss.
Okay. Which, Ace Frehley's not dead, right? He's still touring.
No, I'm not sure if he's touring, but I know he's still alive.
Okay, he just split off from him.
Yeah, I think Peter Criss is too. I think, I'm not 100% sure. I haven't kept up on any of them, really.
I mean, let's be honest, who would want to be in a band with Gene Simmons? And we can keep that in. He's a dick. I'm
literally... A lot of them are very indistinguishable with their vocals. Like, you listen to a lot of like today's metal, and it's like a lot of gutturals and shit like that. But if it's just constant fucking gutturals with like no clean vocals, or if you don't work on your enunciation, that's like where shit can get a little wonky.
I hate to cut you off real quick, but that's one thing that I was gonna say that I really appreciated that you took me to the Slipknot concert, because that's what I would say helped me branch from my musical taste into metal is bands that are really good at cutting or mixing clean vocals with the gutturals and the really deep metal vocals and everything like that. Because it was hard for me in the beginning to really get into just straight metal where they're all out right from the beginning, just, you know what I mean?
Like Slaughter to Prevail or Signs of the Swarm. Another amazing band.
Exactly, but that really helped me bridge the gap from my musical taste to getting into metal, was bands like Slipknot that used it like that and utilized it like that. Obviously, I was already a fan of System of a Down anyways, but
Korn.
Korn, they are the perfect examples of bands that utilize and mix that perfectly.
Exactly, and even Lamb of God does it a bit, not too much with like clean vocals, but the thing with Randy Bly is his enunciation. When he's singing, you can understand almost every single fucking word he says.
I love that.
But
too.
it still sounds so fucking in your face, in your chest. Like, you can feel it.
Exactly.
Like, it feels like he's like crawled up on the dashboard of your car screaming at you in your face.
I love it.
Like that. Like, it's just good.
I love
it's
it.
constant intensity with Lamb of God.
That's awesome.
They have a very... You know their sound. When like they start playing, you know it's Lamb of God, but in some cases the formula works and you just keep going with it.
Which obviously...
They have changed a lot.
Yeah, of course, which happens.
Yeah. Like, that's definitely not a bad thing with them. I think they've actually evolved a little bit. And their newest album, self-titled. But...
And you know, obviously, my introduction to Lamb of God was from you.
Yeah.
And I actually really
most
like
of the
this
metal,
stuff.
I think. In
Oh,
your
yeah.
life is from me.
Oh yeah, exactly. The most metal I got into was Metallica and System of a Down. Then there was few and far songs in between that, but for the most part, yeah, you definitely were the introduction. I mean, like 80s metal, like Danzig and Typo Negative from my dad. My dad loves that kind of stuff.
I don't
and
like Danzig. I don't like Danzig. Typo Negative, fucking baller. I can get behind it all day.
Yeah, and I like a few Danzig songs, but Danzig himself is so odd. He really is. And our fans probably, or our listeners probably have no idea what we're talking about.
You smacked your Chromebook.
That's okay. Fuck that Chromebook.
So you pimp slap the fuck out of it.
But I hate to keep getting you off on distractions. The other
You're
two.
giving me time to think about the... Oh.
I was gonna say, what are the other two you got?
Ah, man. Name me a genre, and I can tell you like...
Oh, okay. How about we'll just go obviously because it's I would say my main thematic music that I go to. How about classic rock?
Classic rock.
It's a tough one for me too.
Yeah. Led Zeppelin
Oh,
or
dude.
Pink Floyd.
Oh,
probably.
dude, I love that you say that because I'm gonna run through my. I'll wait until you're done. But my top tied bands are Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd.
Yeah,
they're literally
amazing.
They're tied for my favorite bands.
I
love that you said that.
I got those bands from my dad too, but
nice. I
the
love
band
it.
that you got me into for like a minute was The Doors.
Oh, dude,
You got me into The Doors for a fucking minute.
That just pangs on my heart. I love it. I love it. That's beautiful.
But yeah, name another genre.
How about rap?
Rap?
Hip hop, R&B.
Eminem sounds so basic.
Dude, I love it.
I know, but I kind of want to get a little bit different with it.
Okay.
I honestly fuck with Lil Wayne.
Oh, dude, Lil Wayne's beautiful.
Kendrick.
God, I need to quit saying that. Yeah, Kendrick's fucking amazing as well.
He is fucking outstanding.
I completely agree with that. Both of them.
I'm not really getting into a lot of like the new age rappers.
Okay.
But I'm like more into like 90s and so forth.
I completely
I don't listen to like a lot of Tupac and Biggie, but I appreciate them and the art. I have listened to a little bit. It's just not my type of rap, old school gangster rap.
Exactly.
Not that much into it.
And see, like with me personally, my rap taste, I mean, you know, I love Tupac, Biggie, like the 90s, you're talking the 90s. I love fucking Nas, you know what I mean? Even 90s, 80s, NWA, you got fucking Dre, Ice Cube, Tech 9, Immortal Technique. I fucking love Immortal Technique so much.
Dancing with the Devil is like my absolute favorite fucking song by him.
Exactly. Creation and Destruction. The man's got such a way with his words and his flows and everything. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it so much. But I can say, and I mean, I'm gonna catch some flack for this shit. I do love some new rap. I really do. I mean, don't get me wrong.
There are a few.
Yeah, there's
Definitely
a lot. There's a lot I don't like. I would say on the majority I don't like it, but for the ones that I do like, the minority, the minuscule amount that I do love, like Felly, anybody under Dreamville, like literally anybody that signed to Dreamville is good.
Yeah.
Loot, Boss, fucking JID, Spillage Village, any of those people, they're amazing. I love them, hands down.
Flatbush Zombies.
Flatbush Zombies is fucking one of my absolute favorites. I'm so glad you brought that up. I would love to get them on the podcast sometime. They're amazing.
They would be fucking awesome.
Oh, dude, hands down. I love them. I really do.
But Now it's your turn.
Uh-oh.
3 favorite bands.
I can't do
Top
3. I'll go for 10. I know it's hard. That's a little absurd, but I can't even do 5. I've tried to do 5. When I tried to do 5,
they just get mixed.
It's too hard for me to do it because there's too many. Like I said, the 2 competing for number 1 is Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd. I would say my favorite guitarist of all time is Jimmy Page. I absolutely love him from Led Zeppelin. But my favorite solo musician and tied for my favorite my favorite guitarist of all time is Jimi Hendrix. Obviously, I fucking love Hendrix. I thought about putting the Hendrix poster in the background, but this works better.
Yeah, I think Rogan already beat us with the Hendrix.
True, he did. Yeah, with the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah.
Fucking bastard. I hope he finds humor in that. But.
Invite us.
Invite us, yeah, exactly. Or come on the show sometime, man. We'll see you around. But definitely those 2 are tied for top 1. Then I got the Beatles, Rolling Stones, Doors, and then Lynyrd Skynyrd, which are all kind of tied for top 5. But I've also got Metallica, Nirvana, Alice in Chains. Those are all kind of tied in the top 5, top 10 realm. But then you've also got like, who's another one of my favorite bands? I got my favorites out of the way. I mean, obviously like Pearl Jam, Soundgarden.
Yeah.
Chris Cornell himself is absolutely one of my favorites. Did I say the Doors? Obviously.
I don't think you did.
Okay.
You might have.
Yeah, the Doors are completely obviously up there in that realm of my favorites. If we're gonna hop over to rap, we're going genre wise. You obviously know my favorite. As basic as it is, and even though he pointed this stuff out as well, is Eminem. Hands down, I can relate to Eminem, and I know that's something that not a lot of people can, but I'm white trash as fuck. And I hate to say that. That's not something that you want to take pride in. You know what I mean? It's embarrassing as hell to be able to say something like that. But like from the beginnings that I come from, the way that my family was and everything, I could literally relate to what Eminem was saying when I was listening. I could relate to what you're saying in those songs. You know what I mean? Some fucking Stan lyrics right there. I'm a Stan, man. I can't help it. But I get where he's coming from because of the fucking like beginnings that I come from. You know what I mean? And that's obviously something we'll get into more as the podcast evolves and all that good shit. But I can get what he's saying, and I hands down love Eminem. Obviously, like I said, other favorites, Tupac, Biggie, Nas, J. Cole, dude, J. Cole is the shit. Him, the artist under him, I love J. Cole, hands down. He's got a lot of great shit. Metal-wise, I know it's basic, but I do love Slipknot, System of a Down, Metallica, the basic, like dipping your toes in. I love Meshuggah. They got some good stuff.
Yeah.
Lamb of God, you got me.
A lot of people don't like Meshuggah just because it, kind of like Lamb of God, like most bands, they kind of accumulate their own same sound. You can tell who they are by the song.
Understandable. Which I like that though.
I do too.
Maybe that's part of the reason why I like them because, like with the Rolling Stones, I don't know if I said them for my favorite. They're on my favorite list. You can tell when it's the Rolling Stones. I mean, like you can tell from the guitar and everything, but you can tell from his voice, especially of all things, and like Led Zeppelin, all of them. You can tell. Pink Floyd, you know when it's a fucking Pink Floyd song. You know what I mean? So
or even Ozzy and Black Sabbath.
Oh, hands down! I should have said Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath's one of my favorites of all time. Hands down.
You know, it's Ozzy.
Oh yeah.
You know it's Black Sabbath as soon as that voice hits. It's unrecognizable, or it's recognizable as hell.
Oh yeah, hands down. I love Ozzy, and I can't believe, obviously I'm on the spot. I'm trying to think of things faster and everything, but fucking Ozzy's definitely top 10 for me. Hands down.
Definitely one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, dude, I love Ozzy. And you want to talk about transformative, I mean, as big of a metalhead as you are, Ozzy is like the transition point between pure rock and roll to metal. Like, he's literally that transitioning point. There were a lot of heavy bands, you know what I mean? Metallica was heavy. The Beatles were kind of dipping their toes in there with Helter Skelter and Revolution, some of their heavier songs, but Black Sabbath was fucking Black Sabbath. That's what made metal, hands down. Nobody can argue with me on that.
You ever know the meaning of the song Helter Skelter? apparently...
It depends. We'll see where you're going with it.
Apparently, what they're talking about is going down a slide. And I think it's in, like, Britain or England. It's, like, the world's biggest slide. So... when I get to the top, I go back
to the bottom and stop when it's something. Yeah, I know what you're talking about though. Yeah.
And I get to the bottom and I see you again. I know we're just like bullshit quoting these lyrics, but
that's okay. We'll get it on here sometime. But yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Especially the slide reference and all right. Here's where we get deep. I'm gonna have to stop doing that dumb shit. I look stupid as fuck, but obviously, as you know, I don't know if any of our fans know or if anybody's even listening this far in at this point. Obviously, Alex is. Thanks, Alex. Dude, you're fucking beautiful, man. We're coming back to you again, and I'm using the same word over. You're amazing. You're absolutely a shining star.
Cheers to Alex.
Yeah, cheers to Alex, dude. Fucking A. That's what I'm saying.
I'm sorry I left you hanging there.
But, where the fuck was I going with that? Finally hit that point. I knew that was coming. Oh, okay, Helter Skelter, that's what we're talking about. So, I mean, obviously, as me and you know, and most people probably don't, Helter Skelter got interpreted later in the 60s, I believe around, it was the late 60s. Maybe it was 69, it might have been a little earlier than that. Don't quote me, I'm a little... Cut this out. I'm not quite on top of everything at this point in time, but it was later 60s when the whole the Charles Manson cases and everything came out, the Tate LaBianca murders and all of that. And obviously, I don't remember exactly which house it was. Both of the houses had things scribbled in their blood after the murders occurred, which Charles Manson wasn't a part of. But one of the houses, when the murders occurred, they scribbled in blood Helter Skelter. They scribbled die pigs. They scribbled a few different things on the walls in their blood.
Trying to incite a race war, trying to make it seem like the Black Panthers were the ones that were in there committing the murders.
Exactly, and that was the thing that the prosecuting attorney, Vincent Bugliosi, was trying to put, and he wrote...
Oh God, we're getting sued by him now.
Exactly. Yeah, no shit. He probably would. Yeah, his estate would. I know he's dead, but he would probably do it.
This video is going to get copyrighted with like 3 subscribers.
Definitely. He would be on top of it, but that's one thing. He wrote his book, Helter Skelter, Vincent Bugliosi, and he was talking about laying out his whole defense, or his whole prosecution against Charles Manson, and what he was talking about was the fact that Charles Manson was taking cues from the White Album, which is what Helter Skelter was on, from the Beatles, saying that the Beatles were trying to communicate with Charles Manson through those songs to incite a race war, and that's what Helter Skelter was all about. So obviously it was a crazy situation, and the whole Charles Manson scene is kind of crazy to think about in general, realistically, because nobody knows really what was happening. And I think one of the best books that I've personally read, and I know that you're listening to, I don't know if you're still listening to.
I've been knowing that.
Okay, Chaos. Yeah, Chaos by Tom O'Neill. Hands down a wonderful book. I recommend it to anybody that's listening. I absolutely loved it.
That and O'Neill references this book in his book, but Manson in his own words by Newell Evans. And
I believe that's the one you've let me borrow, Yeah, we swapped. I have Helter Skelter and you have that book, and we swapped.
Oh, yeah. I was saying, no, I have Helter Skelter, but you're saying had.
Okay. Had. Yeah, we swapped. Yeah, because that one's my mom's, actually. I stole it from her.
I still got it. It's right in the bookcase. I know exactly where that is.
Perfect, exactly. But, and I got yours somewhere here. I don't know exactly where, but somewhere.
I trust you with books.
Exactly. So. I appreciate you. I know you know how I am with my emphasis on books. I love to take care of my books.
This man won't let you crease the pages of his books when you borrow them.
The fuck no, man. Dude, those things are art. They really are.
Especially like the really old copies of books. Like you let me borrow like the Helter Skelter book. It looks like it's not a first edition, but it came out around the time it was written. It looks like
exactly.
It's an old book.
And that's one thing that I can completely respect about you too, because I've given people, friends of mine, books that I trust, and then I'll go like to their Oh, yeah, I won't get into that, but I'll go to their humble abode, wherever they're staying at,
Yeah.
you know, and then I'll go and see, like, the books that I specifically told them, like, don't lay them on their fucking faces, or
Yeah, that too.
don't bend the pages and shit like this, and then I'll see them, like, laying fucking spread out on their faces and shit like that, and I'm just like, what was the one fucking thing that I asked you? And I respect that so much about you, is that
I
you
feel like if
actually-
you saw me doing that, you'd like walk in with a friend one of these days to my house and be like, Tony, break this fucking leg.
Oh, it's funny as fuck.
Fucking.
It does. It's a pet peeve of mine, but I know that's one thing that you at least take care of my books, which I completely respect, honestly, and your own books even, because I can't stand it when I see other people's books that they're not fucking taking care of.
Yeah, just like fucking laying in piles and shit.
I have that problem too, but I at least make sure that they're not like fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, but your piles are organized,
Okay.
more or less.
Yeah, I agree.
More so than the others. Like, you're still trying to find spots for yours on your bookshelf. Other people have a bookshelf and they just throw the books beside it. So.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. And.
Alright. And we're back.
We are back. Hello, everybody. You know, one thing that I have to say for sure that I was thinking about when I was taking a piss is that my nerves are subsiding a little bit. You know, as we personally are getting into our flow, which we obviously get into it at any point in time, and which is also the inspiration for the fact that we thought we'd be able to do a podcast. It excites me because we are finally getting to the point where we can get into our flow, and we're overriding the nervousness and the anxiety of the whole situation in the first place to get to the point where we can actually naturally speak.
I'm still figuring out where to look. Like, I'm looking at you most of the time. I know I have to look at the camera.
I know. That's definitely something we're going to have to improve upon. It's quite awkward trying to do that, but...
I think it should be like when we're talking to each other, we look at each other, but when we're explaining something, we look at the camera, look at each other, look at the camera again, stuff like that.
Definitely, I agree with that. And I'm sure it's going to look awkward as fuck on the first couple, but, you know, just bear with us, people.
Still getting into our flow. Like I said, we're not... influencers. Like,
and I hope not to be. I hate that term fucking much.
I hate that term.
I do too.
And it depends on who has that term under their credentials, I guess, because you see people on TikTok who are labeled as influencers, and it's like, are they influencing or just getting attention?
I would say both. They are influencing to the degree that is actually bad. It's actually destructive with certain people like that. They're influencing. You know, you're seeing these TikToks and everything from all these people they've got so many millions of followers and all this good shit, and they're just putting out crap content, and people want to act just like these people, you know, when obviously those people
see one famous TikTok account do like a certain challenge, and then like you have 500 other YouTube accounts make a challenge the next day about that, and it's like, why are we wasting our time redoing what's already been done? Big words coming from two idiots starting a podcast.
yeah, exactly. Who are we?
2021.
Yeah, who are we?
Who are we?
Yeah, we have the arrogance to come up here and say this while we're also doing the same exact fucking thing. But you know, that's what that applies into the duality of existence and the dichotomy of reality. But you know, there obviously is places where the term influencer could work but wouldn't work. So like Jordan Peterson, for example, he is definitely an influencer. He's influenced so many people's lives in a constructive and benevolent manner. But I guarantee he hates the term influencer as well. I bet he would absolutely curse somebody that would use that against him. You know what I mean? And so would I. I hate that term.
I wouldn't blame him.
But he would be the best example of what a true influencer would be. He's influencing people's behaviors on a grand level.
I'm gonna, like, you know, just let the audience know this now. I know it's not like shocking in 2020, but I'm atheist or LaVeyan Satanist, however you want to look at it. LaVeyan Satanists don't worship anything, really. We worship ourselves, but in terms of looking into the afterlife, I was, or am still kind of atheistic. But doing certain things and and just listening to like What does Jordan Peterson teach? Like, what's his class name?
I would just consider it psychology overall.
Is it psychology?
He's got a lot of
Like
stuff.
it's
that
religious studies or whatever.
Like that, I would consider it more theology. Like psychological theology in a sense.
You can find Jordan Peterson on YouTube, by the way, and look up his teachings from in his classroom. Wasn't he Montreal? Was he
yeah, Montreal. He's a teacher over there. If you're looking for more of the specific like religious what's the word I'm looking for, lectures that he gives out, he's got a biblical lecture that he talks about, which begins at Genesis and he ends it somewhere, I don't know exactly where, but he goes through quite a bit of the book of the Bible that he interprets from his psychological perspective. So from the perspective of an actual doctor of psychology, which is a very interesting way to look at it, which I personally loved and actually helped me in many moments of my life as well.
You showed me a couple of their or his religious videos, like, you know, talking about the construction of what was it, Egypt or
probably Samaria.
Yeah.
Ancient Samaria.
Yeah. You want to tell that story? Like, if you can just, like, kind of roll through it somewhat quick?
I won't be able to do it as good as I should because I'm not necessarily prepared for this at the time, but he talks about, there's the creation myth from Samaria, which is the Enuma Elish, which I talked about that in my mythology class in college and everything, and obviously I'm not college educated. I've only had 1 year of college, which was, you know, completely, what's the word I'm looking for? It had a huge influence on my life, which is beautiful, and I would love to go back. I keep using that word over and over again.
By the way, he's more of the book smart one. That's why, like, you'll see me getting a lot of shit from him, but don't worry, I'll throw some stuff on the table sometimes.
And I'm not smart in any way. I like to talk about things I think I know about, but I really don't. And I'm honestly more of a fool, but the fool archetype is a good thing, so I act like
another Jordan Peterson reference there.
Yeah, exactly.
But keep going with the Samaria.
But yeah, so the Sumerian creation myth is the Enuma Elish, and then you've also got the Sumerian stories of the Epic of Gilgamesh and all of that, but the Enuma Elish is the creation story, and it talks about all the gods and the Anunnaki is what they call them, and all of these things. And you've got Marduk, and Marduk is supposed to be like, he's the representation of the hero in these the creation myths, and he takes on Tiamat. Tiamat is the representation of chaos in these stories, and so Marduk takes on the representation of chaos. So what Marduk is the one that brings order forth out of chaos, which is a motif that goes through all stories even till now. I mean, it's even represented through the Bible and any other religious story and things along these lines. And
pretty sure it's also a black metal band name.
Really? That'd be cool? Yeah. That is badass, pretty actually. Positive. I never knew that. That is cool. But Teom even is in the Hebrew Bible, and that is the word for chaos, and nobody realizes that's a reference to the Sumerians, which obviously the Bible has picked from and taken reference to many other religious texts from over time and things along these lines, and people wouldn't realize that obviously at face value. But anyways, Marduk, what makes Marduk such a good hero, what makes Marduk the king god in a sense, is the fact that he's got eyes all around his head, and he's got a tongue that speaks the truth, so he is perceptually aware of what's going on, and yet at the same time he can speak forth truth and speak things in a manner that makes sense in a truthful tone, and he doesn't have deceitful speech, and he can bring, like I said, the order from the chaos, which is the real representation of the hero in most stories, is being able to bring forth order from chaos, which is going to be another motif even with what we talk about throughout the podcast in general, which I find quite interesting.
Episodes to come there.
Oh yeah. But we'll see how many episodes we get, but yeah, I'm definitely excited to see.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Certainly an interesting story, though. And obviously I have a tendency to talk out of my ass. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I love talking about things that I don't quite understand, but it's not quite the arrogance of acting as if I know what I'm talking about. It's more or less the fact of talking through my thoughts and figuring out
the interest.
Exactly, figuring out the interests, the ideas, and sorting through the ideas to actually come to something that is a viable, understandable, logical point of reference to go from.
At least from like the point of view of the person who's trying to think of it. You're trying to put it in a place to where you can understand it the easiest, but in the most thorough way possible.
Completely, because that's my thing, you know, I'm not, how would I put it? I'm definitely not educated, and I wish I was. And that's one of the things that really, I beat myself up over, is the fact that I'm not going to school, I'm not being truly educated. I try to educate myself as much as possible through my reading and, you know, other resources as possible, which Khan Academy, you know, people would laugh, but Khan Academy is a wonderful resource in certain ways.
I know all you high schoolers that may be watching this are scoffing, but
it's worth it. It's worth it. There's good shit on there. But I do take what I can to educate myself as much as possible. And truthfully, I'm not educated. I'm a layman in every sense of the word. But it's trying to, you know, because how would I say, we interact with people that don't even like to think about any type of ideas like that in any sense. They don't like to think about, you know, education in any sense. They're just trying to do their work and get through the day and get back home so they can get to their comforts and things like that. Nobody wants to press that boundary of knowledge to press beyond what you realistically know, because obviously there's so much terrain that nobody knows, you know what I mean? Even the most intelligent person is lacking so much knowledge.
Oh yeah,
you know, and
you can't know everything.
Exactly, and that's repetitive for anybody. But it's trying to get to the point of like actually educating myself to a point where we can educate people that aren't as interested, or maybe interested and just don't know the resources to go towards what we're talking about, you know, and providing those resources for people that don't understand. Even the limited viewers that we have at this point in time, but hey, we're gonna fucking educate you people, even though we're not truthfully educators. We're not that educated. We're not smart.
I'll say we're just pretty much. We'll have like little sprinkles of education here on top of like a scoop of bullshit here and there.
Exactly. So. The way I always put it is follow the leads. Don't take what I say as truth. Never listen to what I say, but take the references that I make. Research that shit yourself. Follow the leads. If you listen to, you know, I throw out a term, I talk about Charles Bukowski. Look up Charles Bukowski. Find his books. Go to the first work of Charles Bukowski and work through his works. Find the references that he makes. Follow those leads. You know, we talk about Jordan Peterson. Go to Jordan Peterson. Look him up. Don't just like push it off like, oh, I'll look it up sometime. Like, actually look it up. You know, follow those resources, because you can truly learn so much. And that's, you know, I would not consider myself educated. I would consider myself a layman in almost every sense of the word, but the only reason I've been able to get to a standpoint of actually being able to understand certain things from an educated standpoint is because I follow the leads off of these other people that are educated, people that are actually intelligent, much more intelligent than myself, so I can follow those leads to understand the references they're talking about, to better understand what they're talking about, and then it just, you know, goes down from there.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm truthfully interested in.
Basically, it's kind of like the fucking dotted numbers. Just fucking keep following those dots.
Exactly.
Until you get the entire picture.
Oh, right? Dude, that's a perfect way of putting it. I fucking love it. So that is beautiful.
You're gonna wake up the neighbors slamming that.
I know. I'm sorry, and I gotta quit saying beautiful. That is amazing. That is artistic. That is visionary.
It's true. Like, just imagine like the picture is your fucking life. You gotta follow every little resource you hear. Like, you know, we name drop Jordan Peterson or Charles Bukowski. Any one of those you can kind of follow, right? And then you can make the entire picture of what you want to be in life and what you want to see in the world.
Hands down. Yeah, and that's a great way of putting it, too. You want to evolve yourself as much as possible. Even if it's something that you might not necessarily think you're going to incorporate it or integrate it into your daily practices or anything along those lines, but at least having the knowledge of these people and having the perspective of these people allows you to have a greater perspective of your own in every sense of reality.
It's a big thing nowadays because, you know, even myself, I have like, you know, I put myself online, but I also have trouble taking criticism sometimes.
Oh, me
Like,
too.
I'm not gonna go like probably pout about it. I'm probably just gonna like brood over it for a couple hours, but kind of just don't want to look at the comments.
I get it.
Like I said, I don't care.
Oh yeah.
Like, I do care, and I'm probably gonna say this for like, you know, now. But I'll probably be like, anytime we get a new comment, oh, what they say, what they say. Like it's gonna be like that for a while until like we at least get like a few people commenting probably.
Oh, I completely understand, and I would say just for what you're saying is like, I don't care because I care too much. I really do, and I've always been that way, and that's why I was so nervous even to do this in the first place. Is like, you know, I tell myself so much I don't care, and I've always said that throughout my childhood and growing up and everything. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. But it's like that song by 21 Pilots. I don't know, he says something, I can't even think of it right now. I'm too scatterbrained at the moment, I'm trying to talk too fast. But he cares what you think, that's what he says, I care what you think, something like that.
My name's Blurry Face, but I care what you think.
Exactly, yes, and I love that so much because I'm the type of person, I'm always in denial of the fact of I don't give a shit what you think, I don't care what you think, I don't care what any of these people think, but in reality you do.
Yeah, in reality you care, you just don't want to like be the controversial one.
Exactly.
Like, anymore being the controversial one will get you a death sentence.
Hands
like,
down.
You know, it depends on the subject. A lot of subjects deserve some heavy scrutiny. Yeah, freedom of speech is a thing, but, you know, with freedom of speech comes with the repercussions of, like, what you say.
Exactly.
Just because you're free to say it doesn't mean it's not going to affect you.
Exactly.
So, that's what a lot of people need to understand and incorporate into their lives, because it's just so easy to get into arguments online when you could be typing a comment back and then halfway through it you realize, why do I care? And then you just close the app and you won't even think about that comment ever again, probably.
Hands down, so. Exactly. And you know, it's just a...
And that's not saying like, you know, if you see a hateful comment or something, don't like... It's not saying ignore it and like let it keep happening, but like, is it worth wasting your time instead of like, you know, just doing something productive? Like, instead of going on Facebook just to search for people to argue with, why don't you like try to practice an instrument? Why don't you like play some video games or something just to relax and stuff? Why do we have to constantly be paying attention to what's happening politically, what's happening in America at all times?
Absolutely.
Like, I know a lot of the stuff that's been going around this past couple of years are important, but I just hope people eventually start to calm down. We need to get back into a somewhat, like, I'm not saying like 10 years ago was like the calmest time in the world at all. Like, you know, when you're younger you have such a beer glasses type perspective of, you know, how the world is. You know, you're younger, you think, oh yeah, I can't wait to grow up and shit like that, but then you get older and you're like, wow, there's a lot of politics, there's a lot of like going for the throat and a lot of shit, and it's like, why do we have to be like this?
Exactly.
We don't.
Exactly, and I completely agree with that. That's one thing, you know, especially nowadays, and I think part of it, I wouldn't say that social media is necessarily a completely malevolent thing. It's not all bad, you know, but there's no denying the fact that it is a catalyst for the behaviors of people to get hijacked, to be brainwashed in these ways because of social media. And you notice it's definitely a reoccurring theme. You know, people, especially on both sides of parties, Republicans and Democrats, and you know, obviously as we've talked, I don't want to necessarily stray into politics on the first episode, but
hardly at all in any of the episodes, but it will probably be touched upon in some aspects. And remember, there are opinions. We're not telling anyone they have to believe what we believe, so just keep it to yourselves, because you shouldn't care what we think, and we don't really care about like your other views unless it's more constructive. Not like if you're educating rather than arguing, then you know that's a valid response to it.
Well, I completely agree with that, and I think one of the biggest problems in politics this day is the fact that people are ideologically possessed. If they want to take one side, let's say one of our viewers is Democratic or one of our viewers is Republican, either or, you could have either one. Once you hit into that area, then more oftentimes than not, you're going to completely agree with somebody else or the ideas that are presented from a leftist perspective or from a right-wing perspective. It's just how it's going to go. That is the fundamentals of ideological possession. Personally, I come from a more centrist perspective, and I would say you seem to as well in that point. So I like both sides, and I also hate both sides more than likely. And I hate both sides, but that's just me personally.
That's me too.
Exactly.
I'm not a fan of Trump Biden. I don't care.
Yeah,
I just think anyone in that office is going to be corrupted one way or another.
Hands down, exactly. It's unavoidable in that sense. But the way that I see it is that no matter what side that you are on, you have to have some level of maturity to actually have a conversation with the other side. You can't just immediately write off the other side as being wrong, as being ignorant, as being less educated than what you are. You have to hear them out. Obviously, there's going to be a level, of certain points and times of talking to specific people where, they are probably less educated. Yeah, they are probably ignorant and they're saying stupid things. But then at that point, you take that how would I put it? Now I'm losing my words. At that point, then you have to be the one that stands up for the moral guidance and actually educates and instructs the other person. And at least, even if they're not going to listen, because most of the time, especially in today's climate, they're not going to listen.
No.
At least what you can do is say your piece to try and educate them. And if they're not going to listen, then they're a lost cause. Let it go. You don't have to get angry about it. Just fucking move on from it, because obviously you're not going to get anywhere anyways.
There's no use in getting angry at someone who just doesn't want to learn like that.
Exactly. I completely agree with it.
But my dude,
to be honest, at this point I'd say we're doing pretty good, eh?
I think we're gonna call it here.
I think so. I think this is a good spot to stop. We've talked about a little bit of our direction, where we're going, the goals, the things we're talking about, music, which is a huge,
One of my favorite subjects to talk about. We might bring that up a lot, actually.
Oh, definitely. It'll 100% come up again, music. And unfortunately, we dived into politics, which we didn't want to dive into at all. But, that's part of the reality, the paradigm that we live in. So it's going to come up from time to time. Multiple different topics. And obviously, we're going to have to edit this out. There's going to be quite a bit that is not going to be, what's the word I'm looking for, utilized properly, and we're not going to want to put it in here, but that's what we have Alex for, you wonderful person. I appreciate you. And I guess it's time for me to shut the fuck up if you're satisfied with the end product.
I feel like I'm satisfied. This has been real fun. It started off nerve-wracking as hell.
Definitely.
I'm so much calmer now. I honestly just feel like I'm sitting in my living room having a conversation with you right now.
Same, I love it.
So that was a good little impasse to get over. But yes, I think this is the end.
If you're done with it, I'm cool with it. I would say this is a great place to
end.
And peace out, bro.
Thank you. Peace out.
I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Fucking hey.
Subscribe to the Psychonauts, bitch.
Peace out, bros.